Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Friday 15. This is our weekly podcast where every Friday we sit down with somebody from the travel industry and we answer your questions. Today, you only have me from Host Agency Reviews. Steph is on her nice long drive back from Tucson to Minnesota, so hopefully she gets into Minnesota tonight all safe and sound. From the updates, apparently her puppies haven't killed each other yet in the car, so that's a win for 4 days in the car with 2 very large dogs. But Friday 15, so every Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time, we go ahead, we take 15, sometimes 20 minutes to answer your questions about the industry that you've submitted. If you have any questions that you would like to submit for future Friday 15s, and we do them every single Friday, please go watch past episodes to see the types of questions, but also you can go to hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15. So it's Friday 1-5, and you can go and submit your questions there. Like I said, we have many special guests from our host partners. And today we have Connie from Montecito Village Travel. Thank you so much for joining us, Connie.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it very much.
We're very excited to have you. So this is going to be a fun 15 minutes filled with 3 very, very good questions. And really, I'm going to jump right in. We will be linking different things throughout the podcast. So please stay alert. Anything that we talk about, we will link from our site into the comments so that you can go check it out. We will start with the most important, and we will link Montecito Village Travel so that you can go check out their profile and go see if they're a right fit for you as their host. So first question, let's jump right in. So this one is very interesting. So this person, anonymous, has written in, do you need an identification number to be seen as a travel agency? Or can I just book someone's trip for them? I'm not sure that I want to find a host. I want to start my own business, but I don't know if I need a number, if it would be beneficial having an accreditation number. But I don't know if that's the best way to get discounts to service clients. I just love booking people's trips. I'm fine booking the trip and just charging a fee without receiving commissions. I want to know if this is something that I am technically allowed to do or if it would benefit my client. So, Connie, what are your thoughts on this?
That's one big question is what I'm thinking. And there's a lot of, it really is. I mean, I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, there's so many different things a person needs to know. And I think that's the key here. People love planning and they love doing the research and they think they want to make it a business. And that's perfect. That's how everybody starts, but there comes a point when it is a business and not a hobby. And we don't know what we don't know. Right? So these are all really good questions. This just leads directly into what a person needs to do. And I think maybe the first question is, do you really want to create a business? I've only had one person come to me in the past 12 years I've been doing this, where they were actually just charging for doing the planning and then let the person book their own business. It really isn't a travel advisor model to do it that way, but it can be done. There are things a person needs to know. And first of all, I would say you need to structure a legal business. If you're going to do this and charge money, you need insurance and you need legalities taken care of right away so that you are actually running a business and protected in case you make a mistake somewhere along the line. And that's really where a host agency comes into play, because if you join a host agency, what they're going to provide you with is some of the structure that you need. They're going to fill in the gaps of what you don't know, so to speak. And if you are looking to create a business where you're making money on more than just the planning fee, you'd really need to have the relationships a host agency has. If you start out on your own and you get just a true number or something like that in order to book, you don't have the relationship that a large organization will have with those suppliers. You're not going to have access to co-op monies. You're not going to have access to the training and the education. And if there is an issue that you need additional assistance with, you don't have that power behind you. So a lot of good reasons to really go back and ask the first question, is this a hobby or is this something I want to learn? And then the other thing I think that people don't really understand, if I am a layperson, so to speak, not a travel advisor, and I'm out there and I'm booking travel for my friends and family, I'm going on to the resources I have available to me, the online booking engines, and I'm doing my searches that way. What people who do it in that manner, and that's what a layperson does, they don't realize the value of consolidators and businesses that can put those packages together to make the whole experience seamless. So there is that learning curve. So, is it a hobby or not? Get your legal stuff put together so that you know what you're doing. Get your errors and omission insurance. You just need that to safeguard yourself. And then you really should take some classes as well. So I think it's just more than an identification number. It's a whole introduction and education into the industry. How is it done? What are the best practices? And I think another thing a person needs to think about if they're looking about getting into this is, do they really want the nitty-gritty 24/7? Because sometimes the research is really a lot of fun, but when your client has an issue and they're traveling abroad and you've got to fix it on the fly, that's sometimes a little bit scary. So, oh my gosh, I've just given a very long answer to a very long question.
I think that's fitting. But you are right, and also coming from having been on the supplier side of things, right? If somebody is coming to us to book on behalf of somebody else, we require your IATA number. We require, if you are part of a host or travel agency, information. We will not actually, at the supplier I used to work with, would not actually allow you to sell on behalf of somebody else if you weren't accredited.
Absolutely.
Right? So every supplier, so if you're going to be booking a cruise, anonymous, if you're going to be booking a cruise or a tour or hotels on behalf of somebody else, then this is what you should expect from the supplier side. So who's supplying that product for your clients. They are very strict, and just kind of like Connie was like Connie, exactly like you were talking about with legalities, all these suppliers have that as well. So, I think that was great. I promise the next two questions are significantly shorter.
Well, the funny part is I didn't try to answer half of that question, but
you know what, though, I think you did. I think it's interesting because I actually shortened it from what was actually submitted. So you got the short version. You know what? I think she's excited. I say she, it could be he. It was from Anonymous. I think this person was very excited about the idea of helping plan trips. I have a family member who used to love to do that for us, but was doing it on just behalf of our whole family. So she was traveling with us. But when you're doing this on behalf of friends and family and you're not actually going with them, these are things to consider, especially the legalities behind it, so that you're protecting yourself and you're also protecting those friends that you're booking for as well.
And this sounded really negative. This is a great industry to get into. So I don't want it to be discouraging. It's just a matter of doing it right. And when you do it right, you do it the right way. You do it by using the proper credentials. You do it by being with a host agency. And host agencies really are the best way, because a host agency is going to have a whole world of support for you. There's going to be other advisors, as well as, the longevity of the host that you're with. So great time to get into the industry, but it is different than booking it on your own. And sometimes people don't understand that the way you book for family and friends when you're not an advisor is different than all the tools and resources you have when you are an advisor. And sometimes it's hard to let go of those old ways to learn the new ways, which are actually better for you.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's lost on, there's so much planning involved and so much of your time involved. Even when you are planning for your friends and family, even I'm planning a trip for my family right now, my parents' joint 65th birthday party. I say birthday party, we're taking them out east. And even just planning that for them, I have my travel advisor helping us out, because there's so much work involved with it. And there's a lot of my time that would be spent doing that. And I get to help support her business, and she's doing she's doing beautiful work for us. So, I I think there's also, you want to also be compensated for your time. And when you are with a host, again, coming from the supplier side, working independently when you are a travel advisor versus working with a host, all the perks, the commission levels, there's so much that you get with a host as well. So yeah. All right. I have the next question ready for you, and it's a one-liner, so it's significantly shorter.
This is more.
Yeah, this is more our speed. But thank you, Anonymous, for that question. That was wonderful. Okay, so another anonymous question. How does a newbie travel advisor become a sub-agent, or where could I find a mentor?
Very good question. And that is the entry path for a lot of people, the sub-agent role. And let me tell you how this works and why this works well. If you know a travel advisor that has similar tastes as you do, similar work ethics and that type of thing, it really does help you to be able to pair with that person. Now, at our host agency, I unofficially play matchmaker. Sometimes I will talk to somebody. Yeah, I mean, honest to gosh, it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, this person sounds really good, but we do have a 2-year minimum experience requirement. However, if I talk to somebody and I realize, oh my gosh, maybe they came from a related industry, or maybe XYZ just falls into line, I do work with some of our advisors that are looking to bring people under them. So I play matchmaker. That's one way it works. And it doesn't work that way with all host agencies. But then there are other host agencies out there who maybe have an educational program and they assign mentors. So there are host agencies out there that have their own official mentors that you can work with. So it's not exactly a sub-agent environment, but it is a host agency that takes new to the industry that also provides mentorship, which is really, really helpful. So that's the first part of the question. I think there was a second part to that question too. What was the second part?
Well, how does one become a sub-agent?
Oh, okay. So the way a sub-agent works from a technical standpoint, or at least in our agency, and I would assume any other host agency, what we have in the industry too, and I think it's really important for people who are just thinking about this career. It is the most sharing and giving industry that I've ever worked in. People want to share their knowledge and they want to help as much as they can. So we have a large number of advisors who are looking to grow their team. Maybe they need somebody that they can give a certain type of business. Maybe they don't like to book cruises, but they want to partner with somebody that they can offload, if you will, or share some of the love to that sub-agent in a special niche. So the way it works is the lead agent will have an agreement with the sub-agent, okay? And I hate the word sub-agent. I'm trying to train myself. It's team member, the team lead and the team member, okay? Because sub just doesn't sound so good. But really what happens there is you have a relationship with the lead. What the lead will do for you is train you all the ins and outs of being an advisor. What are the typical solutions or situations that come up, or how should I handle this situation? It's somebody to go to if you have issues. And a lot of times too, the lead agents, and they're all a little different. So you have to iron out what they're going to do. I always recommend to my leads, have a weekly call. Check what's going on. If they're brand new to the industry, have them do sample itineraries, give them a typical lead from a client, or maybe something your client has asked you for. See what they come up with for an itinerary. So the way it works is it's a legal binding agreement between you and the lead advisor. You the lead agent will be paid for your production. You will pay, as a lead agent, you'll pay the team member and 1099 them at the end of the year. And we have a lot of successful relationships that way.
Oh, that's great. We actually, it really speaks to a lot of what you just said. But we have an article in our blog called "What is a Travel Sub-Agent and Is It Right for You?" So Anonymous, definitely go and check that out. We'll link that in our comments as well for everybody that's listening right now. But it really reiterates what Connie was saying, and then just kind of has a few other tidbits for everyone that's listening. Also a really great way to potentially find a mentor, exactly to what you were saying, Connie, about how this industry really loves to support each other, teach each other, kind of give you the insights that they have so that you can go out there and thrive. It was honestly definitely something I experienced in the 2020, 2021 years, working for a supplier, and how suppliers really came together to help support each other. And a great way to do this is to just go and meet people. There's a lot of events. We have our events page where all of our hosts post all of their various events. Some are open, some are closed. We also have events that are just happening for the travel industry that are open to brand new advisors. There are also events like, for example, there's a travel tech TO. I'm in Toronto, so TO is for Toronto. And it runs free for attendees. And so I go to those events once a month, and I get to meet other people in the industry as well. So there's great ways in terms of looking for mentors as well. There's lots of events like those that happen. ASTA, so the American Society of Travel Advisors, has their local chapters as well in various cities around the States. Same with ACTA in Canada. So definitely worth checking that out if you're looking for a mentor or more people to learn from as well. So yeah.
And there's also a lot of Facebook forums and a lot of groups you can join online too. Be careful, that can be a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Someone had to say it. I'm glad it was you, but I agree. It can be a rabbit hole for sure. It is nice though to get out because, a lot of us do work from home. We do work remotely. So it is nice to see people, but there are lots of virtual options as well if you're not able to do that. So it's really great. All right, we've got final question. See, this is why the Friday 15s always turn into, I call them Friday 20 to 25s. They're worth it though. Okay, so this one is very interesting. Final question. When changing host agencies, is it possible to transfer clients and vendor information without doing it individually? But more so, I think the more important thing, as a courtesy, should I be telling that agency, that host, that I'm moving to another host? Yeah, I was waiting.
Okay. Let's take the easy part of that equation first, and that is the transfer of existing bookings. So it really is up to people outside of your control. So first of all, your current host agency has to authorize any transfer of any booking, and whether they do that or not, that's up to them. So you read your contract if you're going to another host agency too, because some hosts will change your commission payout if you do leave. Okay. The other person who has control of that is the company itself. So every travel company out there has their own rules of engagement. Sometimes they'll transfer a booking if it's within 30 days of the deposit. Sometimes if it's before final payment. So all these things come into play, and it really is a collaboration between the supplier as well as your current host agency as far as what can and cannot be moved. And it is amazing to me. There are so many different policies out there. So read your contract carefully. Legally, you should read your contract, but legally, as an independent contractor, you can belong to multiple hosts if you like. Okay. So sometimes a person will have a foot in both worlds before they make that decision. I am a firm believer in transparency. I'm a firm believer if you have an issue the fit isn't right with your current host, you should talk to the current host about that. I mean, I just think that's really important. But I also realize sometimes there are situations where you may need to be getting your ducks in a row with a new host before you let the current host know what's going on. So sometimes you'll have your foot in two different worlds. I wish the answer were cleaner and simpler than that, but it really depends on the independent, circumstances of the current host, the future host, and what you need. I will tell you, I know with Virtuoso, and I think with all consortia, if you are a Virtuoso advisor, you can only have one Virtuoso profile that is attached to the individual. So that is a different transfer process as well. So I wish it were an easy answer, but it is case by case, both for the transfer of the bookings as well as your transition to your new host agency. And those should be questions going in as well as when you leave a host agency. What happens if this marriage, dissolves? How does that work? And that way you have a firm idea of what's going on. But I do believe in transparency, and I do believe in if things are not working with your current host, letting them know why.
It's interesting. That's actually the first note that I had when I looked at the question. It's literally a note sitting here. Always speak with your existing host first. Mm-hmm. Offer your feedback or concerns and open up the conversation, because there are opportunities for change and to learn as well. So it's kind of one of those things I always talk about with teams that I've managed. I don't know what I don't know. Mm-hmm. So if you don't share with me, then there is no opportunity for me to make that change. So I could not agree with you more on that point. We have an article, again, in our blog that talks about switching hosts and 5 major things to consider. And number 1 is reading your contract, reviewing your contract, looking at the agreement. And we go into complete detail. It's quite a long article, but well worth it if this is something that you are looking at. There's great questions for you to ask your existing or your new potential host agency, factors to consider, details on what you need to know, along with not only some of the fellow advisors, but we have a few of the hosts' perspectives and we highlight them so you know what they're talking about, who they're talking about. So you're getting perspectives from both the advisors as well as some of the hosts within that article. So we'll link that in the comments for you as well. Again, Connie, you hit on a lot of the points within that article, which is fantastic. And like you mentioned, you can have dual affiliation. Definitely read through your contracts and understand what that means. And again, from the supplier side, switching with a supplier has different rules and regulations around that as well. They will always go back to your host. So transparency is key across the board. I think as my team usually tells me, I'm transparent to a fault. I share everything. I am the most open book. And if any of you are attending ASTA in Utah next month, you'll meet me and you'll understand when you do. So it'll be fun. But yeah. All right, we did this, the Friday 22. I think we did pretty good.
Well, you're talking to me and I'm talking to you. So, I mean, it couldn't have been anything else, right?
Exactly. But thank you so much. Again, we're going to post Montecito Village Travel's profile in the comments. Please go take a look at their profile. There'll be a ton of information in there for you. If you have any further questions for them, please reach out. You can do so straight from the profile if you feel like they're a great fit for you. We do have some more Friday 15s coming up because we do them every Friday. We have Levarte Travel joining us next Friday. We actually, shockingly, have an empty slot on April 25th, but we're taking the week off. It's our kind of, I think, one of 3 weeks throughout the entire year that we are taking off. And then we have cruise planners joining us on May 2nd. Please let us know what you think of our Friday 15s. Please leave a review for us. We would love to know the questions that you enjoy listening to and any questions that you would like to submit yourself. So thank you so much, Connie, for joining me in my first official hosting by myself. Thanks, Steph, for leaving me alone.
I didn't realize I was your first, so there you go.
Hosting alone, you made me feel very comfortable, so I so appreciate you.
And vice versa,
Oh, stop it, but say more things like that. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.